Welcome to the Dare to Be Different podcast.
Sounds like there should be some.
And our intro music is like lo-fi, so like chill. So this is all gonna be weird, but anyway.
It's going to sound because this did it while the lo-fi is playing it. It's hilarious.
I could change up the starting music, but anyway.
Just one time, I must put the Dragon Ball Z that ding ding.
We don't want to get copyright strike.
We must get Dragon Ball Z type beats.
Oh yeah. We're like just let the lo-fi play and then switch it up. Anyway, I am your host Austin, and this is
Camelo, aka KB, and yeah, today it is the 31st of October, but we're not doing anything scary here. Nothing
why
scary.
would we do? Oh, Halloween.
Except for getting real and vulnerable.
The only ghost you know is the Holy Ghost.
Bars. Okay. Good. Super good.
So we're doing a new topic today. Tell me about it.
We are getting into Genesis 1 to 3. I found a Bible study that speaks on occupation more than a job. And something we should do actually is I'll maybe share the link with you. We should actually upload this so people can also sell resources. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I can put that in the description.
Yeah, I've seen you put the Bible verses, which is awesome, but I think also just this thing. So, Genesis 1 to 3, more than a job, occupation. So, we are going to start by...
Is it Genesis chapter 1 to...
Chapter 1 to 3.
Oh, not Genesis chapter 1.
Yes, 3. Chapter 1 to 3. So, preamble. What do I need to know about this passage? And yes, guys, it is passage. Just for anyone tricking up, it is passage. I checked. Most college graduates give great significance to work and career. Many will even try to define themselves by what they do for a living. Work is important to who we are as God's creatures, but work can only take its proper meaning and place in life from the purposes for which God created it. The ancient Greeks thought work had no intrinsic value, but was simply necessary for leisure. It was only in leisure that people, nearly always free, wealthy males, could pursue a life of reflection, virtue, and civic involvement. Today, many people also work only for money to pursue other personal interests. Others live for their work without any sense of its integration with a larger view of life. Besides these errors, Christians may view work as insignificant to the life of following Christ, or view it only as a platform for ministry. They may fail to see that work itself has value to God, and that it can bring glory to God in itself. Genesis 1 and 2 show us just how important work is to being human. In the modern period, far too much attention has been given to questions of natural science and history in looking at Genesis 1 and 2. There are clearly some claims that relate to science. God created the universe from nothing, ex nihilo, that's the Latin, for example, and he created humankind. But nowhere in scripture is there any attention given to how he accomplished his amazing feats. Genesis 1 to 3, chapters 1 to 3, is unique not only in world literature, but even in scripture. We can only sample its multi-layered richness here. The opening chapter of the eternal story is squarely focused on God. In the beginning, God. Before the world was, God is. The Old Testament authors return constantly to creation as a decisive argument for his superiority. All other deities are nothing compared to Yahweh. He alone made the heavens, the earth, the seas, and all that is in them, as quoted from Genesis, I think. The gospel starts here, as the New Testament evangelists make clear when addressing pagan audiences. And because God made us, we owe him everything. The entire Pentateuch, or first 5 books of the Old Testament, is framed in the idiom of a treaty between a ruling suzerain or high king. Never heard of that word.
A suzerain.
Never heard of that.
I have to Google.
It is framed in the idiom of a treaty between a ruling suzerain or high king and his vassals. I know vassals is like the people subordinate.
Yeah.
The contrasts with the ancient despos, using words here, are remarkable, as in Genesis 15, where God stunningly commits himself to his subordinates. Oh yeah, interesting. But it's still that kind of relationship. God establishes the structure of the world and gives humankind a share in his sovereignty over creation. Notice how the arrangement of the 6 days emphasizes this idea. In the first 3 days, God establishes 3 realms or kingdoms: light and dark, water and sky, land and plants. But there cannot be realms without rulers. So on day 4, God creates astral bodies to quote-unquote rule over or govern the realm of light and darkness. On day 5, God creates birds to occupy the realm of the sky, and water or water life to fill the kingdom of the oceans. Day 6, Day 6, God creates animals to occupy the land and to eat the plants that occupy the land. And to complete the creation, then God said, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground."
Oh, so I got the definition of suzerain. It refers to a sovereign or state that controls another state in a limited way, often allowing it some degree of autonomy. In this relationship, the suzerain has overarching authority, typically in foreign policy or military protection, while the controlled state retains local self-governance.
Interesting. That's actually quite a nice word to apply to this. Does it have the pronunciation there, just for interesting?
We can also pronunciation.
It feels like it's a word that comes from French, but anyway. Suzerain.
This is from ChatGPT. Suzerain or suzerain. Oh, it doesn't matter. Interesting. Can be rin or rain.
Okay.
But I think rin is the correct.
Probably the original.
Suzerain.
Suzerain.
I like that word. Suzerain.
Hold. That's quite a title, but anyway. You are the, what's the majestic suzerain? Yeah, that would be interesting. It sounds too close to suzerain.
Apparently there's a role-playing game called Suzerain.
Oh, interesting.
So there's already a game of it.
We should check it out. Okay, called the framework hypothesis, this interpretation of realms and rulers of the creation week leaves aside chronology and science in order to emphasize a cosmic hierarchy and particularly the stewardship, this word here, of humanity over God's created order. This suzerain vassal relationship is the basic metaphor Jesus uses repeatedly in the parables. In retelling the story of creation from another perspective, Genesis 2 says that God specifically put man in the garden to tend and keep it.
Yeah.
God also portrays himself here as the ultimate worker and humans as made in his image. Our work is one aspect of being made in God's image. Wow. Okay. I didn't see that before. Note also that Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 28 is the first command to humanity. The first time God even speaks to humankind. Wow. So what he has to say here is important, foundational. He says, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and over every living creature that moves on the ground." This is the original mandate for the development of human culture. Biblical scholars call it the creation mandate. Part of what it tells us is that work is not an afterthought, nor is it a nasty side effect of the fall. Just a quick pause there, bruh. Like,
We spoke about it, yeah.
There's this culture, there's this idea that I just want to work until I can do nothing. And as a Christian, I really hope, number one, that us here in the room, of course, we can reflect on this. But anyone hearing this, I hope that you can hear this and reflect on this. It's in our nature, it's in our design, it's in our calling to work. Obviously not like to,
burn
out, but yeah. Like guys, we start to die without work actually. But anyway, But sin does damage our work. Genesis 3. Sin has been terribly destructive to all of human culture. We cannot respond properly to God's command to rule over the earth without understanding how difficult, discouraging, and misdirected work is because of our rebellion against God. That's the one. So not to say there isn't difficulty, not to say that there isn't a perversion, definitely. And unfortunately, we tend not to recognize it. What we tend to try and avoid is this perversion, but then we misplace what we should actually do. Right? The redemption of humanity will culminate in the new heavens and new earth. And while we do not know much about the life to come, several parables and prophetic passages indicate that human work and culture will continue in some form after Christ returns. Most campus staff and student leaders have spent little time in secular employment, so they can't speak from strength of experience about the joys, frustrations, and possibilities of the careers that most students begin at graduation. Staff and students know the pressures and battles of their own situation, but may underestimate the coercion or, I hope you guys know what that word means, the world has on Christians in the secular workplace and the difficulty of doing classical ministry activities in the context of a job. Staff, especially, may have a tendency to underrate the value of work in the marketplace, especially because they are so excited about the work God has called them to do. They may not appreciate what an quote-unquote insider can accomplish that staff cannot. But what spiritual mentors can do, like nobody else, is equip graduating seniors spiritually for their calling and commission them for the task. The calling of a spiritual mentor is to help others fulfill their calling. Okay, this is for small group leaders, but anyway.
Yeah.
But it's something for us to think about. What a privilege. Consciously take this attitude. Psalm 8 makes a great closing prayer for this study. Okay. That is specifically for a small group. Yeah, nice. Anyway. Okay, before we get into the questions, just what's the big idea with all this? Work is part of God's original plan for humanity. Through our work, we can reflect God's image and bring glory to Him as part of our faithful stewardship over His creation. That's a nice big summary of what we read. And what's our response? Here we should look to understand the centrality of work and culture in God's plan. This is the context of discipleship. We need to be encouraged to commit ourselves to knowing and doing God's will in the work that God calls us to accomplish now and into the rest of our careers and lives. Okay, I talked a lot, mate. Can you start us off here? Yeah, just read and then I'll give you the Bible.
Okay. What did you expect from your career after college, and what did you think your work will mean to you? Okay, yeah, let's start there. What did you expect from your career after college? Or let me think about my career.
Oh, what did you expect? Like, if you're trying to remember
Oh yeah,
in honors or whatever.
I never thought it would be easy, eh? Like, never for a second did I think going into like the work environment was going to be something easy. I was very nervous, like even for my first like interview and stuff like that. But yeah, I think financially, I just expected to grow like over the years. But like also with me, like it's a bit weird because I want to write. So that's my ultimate career is to be a writer. So like doing programming and coding, that type of career was just a means to an end, sort of just to like, okay, the writing isn't going anywhere and I need to fund myself somehow. I have this degree, let me use it. So I didn't like expect like this career to be the be all and end all, especially the coding career. What did you think your work will mean to you? Yeah, so like exactly like programming and coding and all of that. It was a means like to finance myself. I tell everyone that like programming and stuff is more like a hobby where I get paid to do it. But the ultimate goal is to be a writer. So,
You're a code writer. Sorry.
Okay, well, yeah.
Dad jokes. Anyway, yeah.
What did you think your work will mean to you? Again, so the coding part, not just to help me financially, but the writing part basically is to impact people from different spheres of life. So yeah, that's what I wanted to need to.
Okay. I see.
What about you? What did you expect from your career after varsity? What's the double major?
Oh wow. So for me, what I expect is I'm gonna go slightly back before coming to when I was in varsity. So I remember dude, like I had thoughts, I had aspirations, dude. Like I don't know if you remember. I think I once shared it at a winter week or at IK in a meeting. I don't know how it came up. I, I used to have dreams of going to MIT and studying like I feel like I remember you saying yeah. I going to MIT studying like biological engineering and stuff like that. And I wanted to make like cool medical tech and like robot arms for people and stuff like that. Like I really wanted to do that and get into nanotechnology. And I don't know, that's the way I thought I would go. And yeah, man, I just expected to be like inventions and whole lot of innovation and stuff like that. And I wouldn't say that has died just as a thought, but it's not necessarily the path that I'm or the direction I've gone in. Well, as in pure innovation or patents. Yeah, patents is American patents and stuff like that.
Did you ever have like a career day in primary school where you had to like come dress up as your future career?
No, that sounds cool. We didn't do that. Does it do that in primary school? What did the soul do? Dude. All I remember is grade 9, they had someone, okay, this was cool though. They had someone come and do an assessment for us to see, I think basically to help us choose subjects. And the two things that came from that was hospitality, right? And that's like,
And you were gonna do it.
yeah, like hotels and stuff. And then the other one was politics. I didn't expect politics back then, but hospitality, back then, for a while, around grade 8, 9, I don't remember how long it lasted or when it started, but there's a time where for some reason I wanted to be like Saul Kerzner. Saul Kerzner is the guy that, I think he started Sun International, it's like Sun City and all this.
Yeah.
I don't remember why, but I was like, yeah, hotels and resorts, yeah, man, I just want to do that. I don't know why I went to Australia, but yeah, man, I just want to do that, like. So I think that's why I came out that time. But anyway, so yeah, then it was MIT and biological engineering and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed biology. Like, I changed from tourism to, at first I just did maths, physics, and then the rest of my subjects I didn't care. I did business and tourism. And then in through grade 10 to grade 11, I decided, no, I want to do biological. Oh my gosh, nanotechnology, whatever, and all this stuff. And then I changed in grade 11 to do life sciences, biology. So I changed from tourism. Shame, and I used to love tourism, and I used to.
Why did you drop the subject?
I respectfully used to. I used to do well in tourism, but then when I hit the ground running in biology also. Oh, I love biology also, dude. Anyway, let's fast forward. No, I'm glad that I at least loved the subjects I took. But anyway, Boss T. So I went and did electrical engineering and IT, right? Because in South Africa, there's no biological engineering already. There's biomedical adverts, but even there, in Doja, you have to choose either to go full medicine or full electrical engineering. Anyway, so I went with electrical engineering and IT, and I went to UJ because they also have a Bachelor of Engineering, whereas, for instance, if it's BSc, but yeah, anyway, and I got to do a double major, as you mentioned, and as I was doing it, I also thought I would get into like control and maybe just automation type stuff, robotics. I don't know, like the options are just there, man. So I can't remember how much I thought of what I would do in varsity, but I just thought I might get into cool stuff. I was way more open in varsity, like just, okay, where can I go type. Yeah. But I definitely wanted to get into like smart stuff and like, yeah, just create stuff and like energy also, here and there. Like if I went on to do masters, okay, I'm going on a bit of a tangent to that's not 100% answering this question, but if I went on to do masters, I was gonna do battery technology because I wanted to see how can we improve batteries and stuff like that. Because of course batteries are booming right now, obviously, in terms of electric. Anyway, so work for me, I've always seen it as doing stuff that I like to do and being able to create cool things, good things, helpful things. That's generally what I've seen work as. I wouldn't say for the longest time I've seen it as something that I can use to do ministry with or to serve God with, hexically. I've seen it just more like doing cool things, doing good things, definitely from that angle. That's what I thought it would mean to me, that I'll be able to do cool things. I also thought I'd be able to start in industry or in corporate and then, just branch out into entrepreneurship and stuff. Because, I've also got ideas that I'd like to develop, app ideas, actual tech ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's been 5 years. It's going for 6 years now, still in corporate. But I can see a path in corporate. I can see a path outside of corporate. So I just pray for God's guidance. But yeah. Okay. A long answer with a lot of tangents, but I closed by basically answering the question. Sir, please continue.
All right, let's read Genesis. Oh, you have it. All right.
Let's open your NIV.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to 2 and 3, and then 2 verse 15. That's weird how it puts it.
Yeah.
Is it Genesis chapter 1? 2 Genesis chapter 2. Oh, it's the whole of chapter 1.
Up until chapter 2, verse 3.
All righty. It's read the chapter, guys. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. The waters. That's interesting, but anyway. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separates the light from darkness. I didn't say the darkness was bad, but anyway. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water." A vault? Or you need to dive into one of the... You sure this is NIV, bro?
Yeah.
I've never heard the word vault.
It's there, yeah.
So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault sky. Oh, okay. And there was evening, and there was morning the second day. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bear fruit with seeds in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seeds in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the vaults of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. And let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made 2 great lights, the great light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. Yeah. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And then there was evening, and then there was morning, the fourth day.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
You just notice how these lights, the stars, the moon, and the sun,
Yeah.
came to govern and came to provide light. But yes, before all this, there was already light. Because the first thing is, let there be light.
Yes.
I searched this one day. I don't remember if I concluded it in my mind. I must actually go check it again. Because I asked the question myself, what was this light before he established it?
Yeah, because verse 14 said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate day from night."
So what light was there all along before this? But that's something else. For final answer, we'll put in the next episode. But anyway, cool.
And all right. And then, okay, verse 20. And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living thing with which the water teems and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water and the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They'll be yours for food, and to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds in the sky and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. Yeah, that's chapter 1. Chapter 2, thus the heavens and the earths were completed, or the earths, in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all of his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Yeah. All right. And then we go all the way to verse 15 of chapter 2. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Interesting. Okay, question 1. Who is the central figure in the creation story? It is not Adam.
Yeah. Do you even get his name? Not in
chapter 1. In chapter 2, we do.
So it's God. That's a quick answer. Yes, he's the central figure. He's the central figure in the universe story. But as much as we don't always treat him as that, but he is.
We are part of God's story.
Yes, sir. He's the main character. Let's just scroll down for the answer. God is the main actor and focus of this account, mentioned by name more than 30 times in the first chapter alone. He stands over his creation with no rivals or equals. Powerful.
Peace. Okay. What are some things this passage tells us about our place in the world? What does it say about human culture? What are some things the passage tells us about?
We kind of started talking about this, but yeah, like just now in answering the video posts.
So basically we get God. There's a lot of like separation in the chapter 1. There's light and day. There's water and there's sky. The different types of animals, different types of plants. So I guess there's a lot of contrast. I noticed like God said things were good, but he never like said things were bad. But I think in him saying things were good was because there was no sin that entered in that moment. So like all that he created was good. Yeah. So like goodness was there before evil. We like that's so crazy. Like if you think about it, we can't comprehend things without like contrast. We don't like look at light and not think about darkness. But like in chapter 1, in the creation, there was just goodness. It was just that. It's so weird. Think of so many things in your life. It all has like contrast, life, death, black, white, up, down. Like we live in such a contrasting world. Um, and I wonder if like we only see this contrast because of sin. Like sin became the separation. Uh, Even though there was separation, but it wasn't like opposites in a way. Like I guess it was opposites, like light and darkness. We definitely need to talk about the light thing again, because that's pretty cool. That the first verse was "Let there be light," and then God still puts lights in the sky to govern. So that's, I guess we're coming back to the question. So a lot of the things that God created, there was governance in them. So He created the seas, but the fish also was created to rule over the seas, the birds to rule over the skies, and then mankind to rule over the earth. Um, yeah, the whole earth. So yeah, that's pretty cool. What does it say about human culture? Uh well, we've come to verse 15. I guess culture, the start of human culture is work, tending to the garden or tending to the earth. That's like our first object.
But regarding our place in the world, or what do you mean? So what are some things this passage, goodness gracious, tell us about our place in the world? What does it say about human culture?
Our place in the world. I guess that we were meant to be ruled by God as well. That's our place. We are part of God's creation, part of His story.
Mm.
So yeah, it's all about Him.
And okay, this also start answer from my side.
Yes.
Yeah, so our place in the world is living in obedience and of course also gratitude to God. Living in blessing in abundance as He has provided in according to His design. Our human culture, I think we know, and it's undeniable that in the design of the world, we are governors over it, or we are to subdue the world. That's in the Bible. So let me just say that it's undeniable that we are to subdue it. There's no other creatures that can subdue the world. It's only us. So that, unfortunately, what we've taken is we see this, should I say privilege, or this design, let me say this design, and unfortunately we exclude the, how can I say, the lordship of God over our lives. We ignore that part and we focus on we are subduing the world. And that makes us destructive, I think. So I think we've obviously lost our way in human culture. But I guess that comes in when we get to the fall and everything. But so I think in terms of human culture, we know innately actually what our role is on earth. It's just a question of how we apply it, I think. Next question, please.
So question 3, what does He bless them mean? So yeah,
Do you just want to go back and check where it says He blessed me?
like basically after He created something. So I think
Let's find an example.
verse. Oh, here we go. Okay, so verse 27. So God created mankind in His own image, in the image of God.
Hmm.
He created them, male and female. He created them. God blessed them and said to them, God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase. His blessing was be fruitful. being fruitful is a blessing. An increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. There we go. So that's the first time he says, blessed, be blessed.
So, okay, so to you, what does that mean?
So a blessing to me is, I guess, can be described as like sort of an opportunity, a privilege, a gift. And so him telling, I guess, Adam and Eve, like, could be fruitful and multiply is a blessing, is a gift. It is for their good. It is part of his history. But yeah, I think that's. Oh, we didn't even see the answer for question 2, by the way.
Oh, we'll come back on yeah, that's why it's fine.
Yeah, so basically he's giving them the opportunity and the gift to take over, or to be fruitful firstly, and then to govern the it's not just because you were created doesn't mean you get to do it. God created them and then he blessed them. So yeah, that blessing, I think a blessing can also be something that is taken away from you. It happens a lot in the Bible. God has taken his blessing away from people.
I guess.
I think it's something that God can choose to give. I feel like it's not like an automatic thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure 100% on the wording, but I just think of Saul, for instance. Was anointed, but he's anointed. Anointing, it's just the stuff that came after the anointing because as consequence. So he was given consequence. I don't know if the blessing in him a bit. So I'll have to check that again. But yeah,
Because like when Isaac blessed Jacob instead of Esau. So you can choose who to bless.
yes, yeah, the choosing part, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. No, or to be fair, he was
tricked. Yeah,
he was tricked.
He did choose it.
It was Jacob or Israel who crossed his hands to bless the one son over the other. I think it was, is it Ephraim and Manasseh? I don't remember. It's somewhere there. Anyways. What does he bless them mean? So yeah, that's one thing that sticks out to me is to do those things is a blessing. Not only is a command, but it's a blessing to do those things. He didn't, as far as I can remember us reading, he didn't bless the animals to go and do that. Per se, he blessed us to do it, to represent him, to be made in his, to represent him, to embody who he is. Yeah, man. So I think it's that's a good phrase to look at to frame our view on work and being fruitful. Fruitful is also not just in terms of, I think it's not necessarily just in terms of having babies.
No.
Also like
Agriculture, while it is.
Yeah, stuff like creating, adding, multiplying, yes,
Ideating.
Yes, sir. So I think we have been blessed to do that.
Yeah, creativity, I mean, is a blessing.
It really is. Well, some say, yeah, it's a curse also, but yes. No, but it really is a blessing to be able to find ways to make things better, to make things lighter, to make things easier, to love, man, to serve. Obviously, there's also in that there's ways to kill and not bites.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, anyway, so let's go check the answers. So previous question, just a reminder was, what are some things it tells us what our place in the world is say about human culture? God created us and put us here. We are ruling on his behalf. Human culture has the potential to glorify God. Okay, that's a nice one. Yeah, you didn't say that. And then number 3, what does he bless them mean? Among other things, he blessed them means that he bestowed favor on them, number 1. He gives them his loving regard as he sends them out to fulfill the purpose for which he created them. Okay, cool. Right, maybe 1 to 2 more questions. Let's see how long We spell out this way. God portrays himself here as a worker. Again, this is it feels new to me. Name some of the work and crafts he ascribes to himself in the rest of Scripture. For example, shepherd, potter. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So shepherd, potter, um, God. Okay, vineyard keeper. Okay, farmer, yeah. Vineyard keeper type thing, or vine trimmer. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, let's somebody who tends to vineyards. Yeah, let's just say gardener. I think they say vineyard master. Isn't it master? Just master in general. Let's take that. And then, yeah, businessman, a master of a vineyard and stuff. Ruler. Yeah, ruler. King. Well, king. I wouldn't say those are workers per se, and crafts. So work and crafts is to put around there. You telling me a king, there's no work in being a king? King is I think actually is more, it's a title, it's not so much a job, I guess, but yeah, sure, there is work in it. So yeah, I think of threshing, and this is like a barn worker, man. How about us? Okay, let's look for, there's a lot. Let's look for answers here. This one is fine. Let's look for it. So create ordner, advocates, I live in yes. Composer, I like that. Performer, builder, I like builder. Yeah, performer, I'd be interested. Architect, yeah. Captain, my captain. Okay, there's your king. Hey, fair enough. Okay. Hold on, teacher. Teacher makes sense. Child, God creator. Physician, what? What? Can't believe. Healer. Okay, we only gave it like 1 minute, but yeah. Thank you, bro. They finished us here. Garment makers, and then it puts ... So the list goes on. That's actually pretty cool. Physician, I love physician. And breeder love time, yeah. I like that. Or farmer, I wonder. But like in terms of like doing miracles or could be. But I like composer. Yeah. Yeah, composer for sure. But the sounds of nature and stuff, symphonies, I don't know. What dude? But he shows us great things. How come the Bible doesn't mention him creating sound? What do you mean sound? So wait, there was sound before there was light, according to the Bible. He spoke. Yeah, no, fair enough. There was. How crazy is that? But we live in a world where light is faster than sound. I mean, but in God's world, or in reality, or it came before. Wow. Fair enough. That's so interesting. There was sound before there was light. There was words before we could see. Interesting. And I don't know where I got that from. Oh, fair enough. It's right there. Okay. I think let us do one more. Yeah. So, what evidence do you see here that being made in God's image may have something to do with work? The evidence that God, for the first 6 days of creation, or work. That's all you did was work. Okay. Yeah, no, he was putting in work, man. He was locked in, and he was doing good things, and he affirmed the things that he did, and yeah. So, if we see in the design that it was full of work, we see that our Creator was doing work. And to know that God is always working, that's another thing. It says, I think somewhere in the Bible, he's always working all things to the good of those who are called according to his purpose. Keeps revealing his good works. Like it talks a bunch about God working. I don't think it talks about God chilling. I don't think it talks. If it's just... No, but I mean like through time. Not to say that, yeah, if you get what I'm saying. And rest here means he stopped the work he was doing on the earth. Like it was finished, if you ask me. He didn't continue working on the earth, as an example. Yeah, there wasn't like day 8. Yeah, it's like he came and refined the mountain. I forgot about this volcano thing. Yeah. He was sorted out. Like he was done. Yeah. So I think it's rest from what he was doing, as in he had finished what he was doing, but not like he stopped. Like God's been chilling since then.
I guess that's a good principle. Like a side note, like in terms of people or even students or corporates or whatever job you have, like if you that's setting yourself a weekly goal or target,
Yeah.
like you will enjoy your Saturday and your Sunday so much more when you've worked those first 6 days or 5 days or whatever, when you've achieved what you're supposed to finish.
Or at least if you tried, if
Yeah.
you know, because one thing I think, at least for me, I can tell you this for me. Me, when I'm not planning stuff and I'm not writing down stuff and I'm not, like, I end up just negotiating with myself throughout the day what I'm going to do or throughout the week what I'm going to do. My attention ends up getting taken by a bunch of things. Like, basically, whichever wheels squeaks the loudest gets attention. Like, I'm just reactive. Whereas, and then I can end up not feeling a great sense of accomplishment because I have really direct my efforts. So it really helps to just have purpose in what you're doing and to try to do what you're doing. Working with intention is the important thing. Goals are good to have in general, but don't I think it can be to our detriment if we focus too much or if we hinge too much on achieving a goal as opposed to working towards something.
Yeah.
Like there's the principle of not, I want to read so many pages a day, but I want to, but more just I want to read each day and seeing what each day you can do to read type of thing. Like you can set like a low benchmark that's ridiculous. Like I want to read 1 page a day because ideally you should be able to read 1 page a day as an example, And then if you get further than that, great. If not, then it's like, okay, well, tomorrow's another day type of thing. As opposed to, I want to finish this book in this week. Oh my gosh. Like, no, I want to be a reader. I don't necessarily want to be someone who finishes 20 books in a month, but I want to be a reader. And a reader is simply someone who reads,
Yeah,
as opposed to putting like those thresholds and benchmarks on ourselves. That starts to create burnout also. But anyway, if you have any more thoughts before you check the answer night.
No.
But yeah, so the question again, what evidence do you see here that being made in God's image may have something to do with work? And the answer from the Bible still is God was a worker and we are created in his image. The creation mandate is given immediately after humans are described as being created in this image. It's the first thing they say after they say we're created in his image. Wow. Bible scholars see the image of God, first of all, in our original moral purity, our eventual Christ-likeness, and our reflectiveness of God's glory. And God's glory is reflected in his work, number one. Okay. Yeah. I report today. I mean,
Genesis is just a fantastic book on perspective as well, bro.
yo, it's so poetic. It's so metaphorical. It's so, like, there's places.
Like, we could still deep dive into chapter 1, bro. Like the whole light thing. There's the vault. I don't know what spell. I don't know if it was vault to be. I don't know why there's so many definitions with the word vault. It's just such a pure. I love Genesis, man. It's tough. Especially the poet in me just loves seeing it.
It is poetry. Yeah, it's poetry, dude. People try to read it literally. Like, there is some literal stuff to be taken out of it, but
I have to read this rap song for you. I think that's a good way to end today. All right. So this song is called Lofty by Propaganda. I'm just gonna read the first verse. Because it sums up I guess creation quite beautifully, and it rhymes. Okay. I'm not gonna rap it, I'm just gonna speak it. God spoke and the formless earth was sculpted, his poetry producing populations, making constellations with his conversations, gazing at his own creation, proclaiming it was good, and there we stood. Fashioned from the dust with authority, he orchestrated organisms and every single cell in every ecosystem, every creature that dwells the planet, the plants, the whole expanse, the sky above your head, and the ground where you stand, the clouds and the rain, the soil that soaks it up and feeds tiny seeds so they sprout and vegetation proceeds. infinite wisdom intrinsic within him, self-sufficient, intricate system begin and end with his decisions, lofty, out of reach, how he procreated with speech. So it's appropriate for us to be completely in awe. Braille, bro, this guy, brilliant. Shout out to Braille. If you ever hear the podcast, man, that is some beautiful poetry, rapping, lyrics, whatever. Go check out the song.
He was going in. Yeah. That's some good stuff. Ken was like it to stand on. I can description. So yeah, that's been us for today.
Yeah.
A Dare to Be Different podcasts. I pray this blesses you. I pray that you be blessed in the rest of this week, month, whatever you're busy with. And yeah, until next time, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Peace.